June 15, 2024. Saturday of the 10th week in Ordinary Time. A reading from the first book of Kings. In those days, Elijah departed from Mount Horeb, and found Elisha the son of Shaphat, who was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen in front of him, and he was with the 12th. Elijah passed by him and cast his cloak upon him. And he left the oxen and ran after Elijah and said, "Let me kiss my father and my mother, and then I will follow you." And he said to him, "Go back again, for what have I done to you?" And he returned from following him and took the yoke of oxen and sacrificed them and boiled their flesh with the yokes of the oxen and gave it to the people, and they ate. Then he arose and went after Elijah and assisted him. The word of the Lord. Responsorial Psalm. Respond is, "It is you, O Lord, who are my portion. Preserve me, O God, for in you I take refuge. I say to the Lord, you are my Lord. O Lord, it is you who are my portion and cup. You yourself who secure my lot. It is you, O Lord, who are my portion. I will bless the Lord who gives me counsel, who even at night directs my heart. I keep the Lord before me always. With him at my right hand, I shall not be moved. It is you, O Lord, who are my portion. And so, my heart rejoices, my soul is glad. Even my flesh shall rest in hope. For you will not abandon my soul to hell, nor let your Holy One see corruption. It is you, O Lord, who are my portion. Alleluia, Alleluia. Bend my heart, O God, to your decrees, grant me mercy by your law. Alleluia, Alleluia. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew. At that time, Jesus said to his disciples, "Again you have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not swear falsely, but shall perform to the Lord what you have sworn. But I say to you, do not take an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. And do not take an oath by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. Let what you say be simply yes or no, anything more than this comes from evil." The Gospel of the Lord. Reflection. Saturday, 10th week in Ordinary Time. In the Gospel reading today, Jesus seems to envisage a world in which there is no need for anyone to take an oath to show they are speaking the truth. Rather, it can be taken for granted that when people speak they are speaking truly and honestly. When they say yes they mean yes, and when they say no they mean no. They don't say yes and no at the same time. In other words, we can trust what people say because we know it corresponds to reality or will correspond to reality. As elsewhere in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus seems to place the bar very high. At least within the community of his disciples, he holds that there should be no need for the taking of an oath because it is to be assumed that people's word will always be reliable and trustworthy. It could be said of Jesus that he was as good as his word. He did what he said. His word could be trusted. It doesn't need an oath to uphold it. It stands on its own. It is an authoritative word that can be relied upon. For in him every one of God's promises is a yes. Jesus is the yes to all God's promises in the Jewish scriptures. He reveals God's word to be a faithful word that can be trusted. In the Gospel reading, Jesus is calling on us, his disciples, to speak in a way that is faithful and trustworthy, that reflects the trustworthiness of God's word.